And we justify this by telling ourselves it's for their safety. Now you can reach your daughter after soccer practice or your son when the movie gets out. And that's all true. But what are the other effects? Science is just beginning to answer that question, and the results are grim. A new study in America's top pediatrics journal finds that high levels of screen time are associated with delayed cognitive development in small children. Studies by the National Institutes of Health have found the same thing. Hours spent staring at devices lowers kids' scores on thinking and language tests. Smartphones have made our kids dumber. It's measurable. But they've also made our kids much less happy. Thanks to smartphones, kids have nonstop access to Facebook, Instagram, and other social networks. And the science is very clear on that. The more time you spend liking social media posts and updating your Facebook status, the less healthy you are. A 2015 University of Missouri study found that Facebook use made people more depressed and increased their envy of others. A 2016 study found that quitting Facebook boosted psychological health. Last fall, a study in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that social media use is directly tied to feelings of loneliness and depression, which can lead to life-threatening psychiatric disorders. It's not surprising then that rates of mental illness and suicide among teens began to surge right around 2012. That's just as smartphones and social media became universal. And you probably didn't need a study to know all this. If you're a parent, it's obvious. Smartphone use makes your kids sadder, slower, and more isolated, and over time can kill them. That's all certainly obvious to the people who make the phones, and that's why so many executives in Silicon Valley restrict their own children's technology use. The software they make is addictive. It was engineered to be that way. As Facebook's first president once explained in a burst of candor, quote, "We need to give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains," end quote. Well, now we do know. We know enough anyway. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Most parents will do nothing, not because they don't want what's best for their kids. They do, but because in real life, it's just too difficult. Try taking an iPhone away from a 7th grader. You'll learn a lot about what addiction means. It's like trying to get a junkie into rehab. You cannot do it alone. Parents need help. And there's no reason that the Congress, which made smartphones possible in the first place, shouldn't be part of the solution. So here's an idea. Ban smartphone use for children. Pass a federal law tomorrow. Why wouldn't we do that? An addictive product that science has determined gravely harms kids? Sound familiar? Once upon a time, people actually argued against age limits for cigarette sales. It's hard to remember exactly what their arguments were. They seem so mindless and embarrassing now. Well, in case you haven't been convinced that big tech is a direct threat to the health and happiness of your children, here's another data point. Since 2016, Facebook has been paying kids